بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. السلام عليكم جميعا. I'm very happy and honored to be with you today. I'm going to speak out the technical part of the summit. I'm going to speak about the integrated sustainable solution, advancing green infrastructure and environmental resilience in Saudi Arabia's urban development. Which one? Briefing, I will say about what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to speak about what is green infrastructure, major elements of infrastructure from greening point of view, the key differences between the traditional infrastructure and the green infrastructure, the role of green infrastructure in Saudi Arab environmental resiliences, and finally I will end up by showing cases that we applied the technology for getting our infrastructure to be green. Let's first start by the origin of the word infrastructure. Infra means below, and the structure is structure, building. So we are talking about something should be done below the building, or at least to cover or support the building. So when we are talking about green infrastructure, we are looking about something different. We are not going to talk about material, usual material. We are going to make an integration between the nature and the environment and the economics and social benefits to get our life or to make our life and building more greener. There are many elements included in how to do this. For example, through urban forestry, green roofs, permeable pavement, and other different techniques that will transfer our building into green. And the concept of green is not about the color itself. The green simply to be compatible with the environment, to not violate the environment. I'm going to speak out the different elements and give an example how Saudi Arabia are leading the edge in the transforming from traditional infrastructure into green infrastructure. We are still in the beginning, but I'm expecting that it will booming in the coming years. For example, for urban forestry and street trees, urban forestry, it means to transfer your streets into, looks like a green, through plantation. And we are honored at IBMAR to be the lead consortium for the Greening KSA project, which is massive, which is unique projects, to plant 10 billion trees in one of the most hyper-arid area in the world. And imagine how this will transform the life in KSA and give an example to the whole world that there is no boundary or there is no hardener to be green. So to have your streets looks like this, what are going to benefit from that? The urban forestry and the streets, all the green infrastructure actually are benefiting us four main different pillars. One, environmental benefits, social and health benefits, economic benefits, and increasing property values from the economic point of view. When you have your street green, you will have air quality development, urban heat island reduction, and heat island is a concept due to the using of the material in construction will absorb and trap the energy within the city, which you will feel when entering the city, it is hotter than the place that you are coming from. And every one of us notice that when he's coming from for example, the highway and entering a big city like Riyadh, the air conditioner is not working efficiently. Why? This is due to the heat island effect and could be reduced dramatically when we are greening our streets. A big example and a very nice example, look at the King Fahd Road in Riyadh. You can see this from outside, from the sky view, you can see that it's like a river. The greening and the planting a tree across the street will not only reduce the temperature of the climate, but also will increase the quality of the air and the feeling of the people driving through the streets. Green roofs and walls. It was emerging now. Many conferences now speak out about the green walls and green roofs and the benefits of reducing again the urban heat island effect. Supporting the biodiversity serves as habitat for birds, insects, and other wildlife, supporting biodiversity within the city. Improved mental and physical health, and from economical point of view, increase property value, extend roof lifespan. There are many examples here, even in case A, as King Abdullah Finance City Conference Center and the most recent Khozam project in Riyadh. Sustainable drainage system, SURIS. It's how to utilize the storm drain. I mean, we noticed recently there is a heavy rain coming in special days. I'm not only talking about Riyadh and maybe a hyper-arid within the case A, but if you look to Asir area, the rains are abundant there, and capture this rain and harvesting this rain will lead to a dramatic change in the agricultural life and in the green life as well. One of the most important happens, recently there is a big floods coming to big cities and increase the damage in the city, as happened in Jeddah last year or 2 years ago. So if we adopt a system to capture this sudden rain and to direct it into useful application like a planting and increasing the green cover, this will lead to, again, make our life more greener. Permeable pavements, again, it is the same concept to absorb the rain and the other, for example, washing water for the streets. You can recycle it again for another use after treatment. Look at, for example, if you have a permeable pavement in area like Asir, you can utilize a lot of water are wasted by using the sidewalk as a permeable to absorb water. Bioswales and rain gardens, the same concept, but utilizing the water instantaneously to make the roads and the places are greener. As an example, for example, Al-Baha Public Parks, and here very nearby in the Najd Oasis walkaway, next to the Ministry of Housing, they transform the area into a garden, very nice one, utilizing this bioswales and rain gardens. Another example, we can do it artificially through utilizing the wastewater treatment to produce or to create these bioswales for gardening and the planting. And this example I will be focused in, at the end of the presentation because it shows one of our showcase led by IBMAR company. Wetland and natural waterway, we have the biggest example at Wadi Hanifa, which transformed the life of the people. It became like a pathway to have a picnic with your family, utilizing what? Utilizing treated wastewater. This is the biggest project, and it shows a very nice model for how to apply the wetland and natural waterway. I invite all of you to have a visit, to have one day with your family to visit Wadi Hanifa project, which it is a fabulous one. And imagine this is coming from wastewater of the Riyadh city. But I myself, I was impressed when I was there. So I invite all of you to have a visit to Wadi Hanifa wetland project. Green open spaces, no doubt, when you are walking in a greener area and you have a space to have a nice fresh air, even for running, for athletic activities, you will feel happiness. At any city, when I'm looking for a hotel, I'm looking for a greener area to start my day walking around and enjoying the green. So we have here many fabulous projects in Riyadh. And of course, when this happens, it will move from a city to a city when the people feel how it is valued. For example, Salam Park, and of course, the biggest one in the world, maybe the Salman Park, are coming soon. So this is the direction of how to utilize green infrastructure. Urban agriculture and community garden. This is a very nice concept. It is not really applied here, but I think the fabulous city Neom will apply it and adopt it, and how to make the people share in producing their food. Not in a very large scale, but it's enough for the population within the city or the village. One of the biggest examples is urban agriculture at Neom using vertical farm, using a small footprint for agriculture, and enjoy picking up your food or fresh vegetable at morning. So this is a new concept. I hope that it will be spreaded very soon when we give a care to the green infrastructure. Garden and renewable energy. No doubt, when you are applying, as the minister before me, he explained how utilizing the green energy could lead to a great change in the carbon footprint, carbon sequestration, and pollution mitigations. So adopting this new technology, and it is day after day, everyone witnesses how it is spread all over, not only case all over the whole world. And we are very lucky in our region with a high intense of water shining, sun rays that allow and support all these kind of solar-based projects. Green and renewable energy, you can see, for example, at Chaos University, and I'm very happy to see this kind of application in university, so we can raise up our students to adopt and to love the green technology for green infrastructure. One of the biggest projects here in Riyadh, a 124 kilowatt solar panel have been installed over a mosque roof. So this is another message for the prayer, for the people to take care of their environment and to move to the renewable energy pathway. At the end, the sustainable waste management. If we accumulated our waste, we are not going to enjoy our life. So we have to adopt specifically organic waste. If we are going to go green, one of the side effects of the greening that you will have leaves on the ground, you will have organic waste. If you didn't manage from the very early beginning to adopt these wastes, you are going to lose the benefits of greening. So adopting sustainable waste management is a mandatory. And there are many different ways to utilize this in producing fertilizer, in producing biogases, and there are many different applications that can transfer these waste into a benefits and a value-added product. In this table, we are here comparing between the traditional infrastructure and the green infrastructure. And I don't need to read this now. I think everyone feel how green infrastructure could change dramatically the life of people and the health and the wealth. So I will leave this for you for the presentation to study this. It's a very fabulous presentation. You will feel how applying green infrastructure will change our life instead of using the traditional one. Now, what are the key technology used in green infrastructure? Coming from the theory into the application. We are very happy at IBMAR to lead one of the biggest projects for green infrastructure at one of the surface at Marseille in Riyadh, and to apply this concept to this surplus using almost all what I mentioned. We tried to apply using the very high technical approach in implementing this project. For example, urban tree planting, we need GIS, remote sensing, Internet of Things to apply this and to maintain this sustainable. Light growing media, gravel roof, subsurface water storage, rainwater harvesting, wetland restoration. I am going to show you an example of application of these technologies to end up by a green infrastructure. Not all, of course, the key have been applied, but at least 70 to 80% have been applied in our project. I forgot to speak about one of very important concept here, the gray water recycling concept. This will give the arm for the application of greening the city by utilizing the gray water, which is not wastewater. It is the water that not combined or mixed with the black water. It is very easy to be treated within the city, within the building, and to be directly used for the activity of greening. One of the benchmarks is in Cairo, in Egypt, in Hurghada. We had implemented the most and the biggest project in grey water recycling based on cities by treating 500,000 liters a day for grey water in one surplus at Hurghada. And it was used for cleaning the whole streets in the city. Now, the role of green infrastructure in case environmental resilience will managing the water resources, compacting urban heat as land effect that I mentioned, enhancing biodiversity, supporting climate change adaptation, reducing carbon emission. And when I'm talking about carbon emission, I just I end up the previous presentation by asking the gentleman, did you transfer this reduction into carbon credit, which means money? So following the green path, it is not only will it change the life of the people, but it also will generate money to support these projects through making carbon certificate, selling this carbon certificate in the market, and making extra money to support the sustainability of this green infrastructure. Now let us go to our showcase. Let me end up with this showcase at Marseille, at Riyadh. You will see that we applied most of the green infrastructure I mentioned. We have like bioswales, we have wetland, we are greening the whole cities, the roads, and we have a park inside the cypress. So we applied here to get this in a sustainable way. We have to follow a very specific technology and regime. What's so called the suitability model. What kind of plant you are going to plant in this area? And to guarantee this tree or green cover will last for 50 years. It will not end up within the coming 2 years due to, for example, sandstorm, or due to lack of irrigation, or due to lack of water or precipitation. So all these factors have been studied very well through applying one of the innovative pathway called suitability model using GIS enabled with AI technology. We collected the central, for example, satellite imagery, files, climatic data, many different data about the area itself. Then we had collectively making different layers of GIS, studied the suitability, studied the plant. We had a list of plants to be planted, and we tackled which plant fit to this place to be sustainable, and taking care of the water, the irrigation, all other concepts and aspects that we mentioned during our presentation. And finally, we had a list of plants, and from this list, we test which one could be suitable for planting to still sustainable for the coming decades. And as you can see, after this calculation, we could reach 80-20% of sustainability. This guarantee that this plant will last for the coming decades. And then after planting, it is not, most of the projects start planting and keep planting for example, the contract period of 2 or 3 years. But what after? After the contractor or the vendor coming out from the city, coming out from the place, we have to have a monitoring tools to monitor the greening progress of this area. For example, we applied what's so-called NDVI using GIS. In August 29, you can see it is almost desert. And by years, and by starting the activity of greening, the green areas coming in these photos show that the progress of your green city or green place. So year after year, we can follow the progress. We can come to intervention with what it will happen in the place. For example, if we have some deterioration, we have some defects in the irrigation system, we can go back and fix it to keep continuing the sustainability of the project. And finally, I will end up by this fabulous table. In one surplus, with 200,000 plant, we can generate more than millions of SAR every year due to carbon certificate selling. We transferred this project into a carbon footprint project, we could calculate the carbon sequestration resulted from the project, and now we are in the way for getting the carbon certificates and getting to the voluntary market to seal these certificates. So this is the story of how to make our life green through applying green infrastructure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Wael. I'll ask you to just remain on stage. I won't open the floor up to any questions as we're about to have a 20-minute coffee break. So if you have any questions for Professor Wael, you can ask him directly. Thank you so much, Professor Wael, for your contribution to the Saudi Business and Infrastructure Summit today. Your presentation has offered invaluable. Thank you.